Happy New Year, everybody, and Tony here with my review of Verdi's Macbeth with once again conductor Enrique Mazzolla, which I saw at the Deutsche Oper Berlin. This marks the 5th time I saw Marie-Ève Signoret's production of Verdi's Macbeth at the Deutsche Oper Berlin because I wanted to see, hear, and witness Byung Gil Kim perform the role of Banco. I've been following Byung Gil Kim's career for nearly 7 to 8 years now. I've been admiring how much he has been growing as a singing actor, let alone as a basso cantante slash bass baritone. I've admired his performances of the smaller roles ranging from Antonio from Il Viaggio a Reims to Schlemiel from Le Comte of Man to the more leading man roles such as Raimondo Bidebent from Lucia de Lammermoor, Escamillo from Carmen, even Zuniga from that same opera, Ramphis from Aida, and the 4 villains consisting of Landolphe, Coppelius, Miracle, and Dappertutto from Le Comte of Man. And his performance tonight as Banco was certainly no exception as to how much he has been growing as a consummate, interesting, charismatic, virile, and formidably involving singing actor, let alone a thoroughly fantastic presence on stage. His movie star virility, as well as his great flair for drama, made me thoroughly excited to see what Byung Gil Kim was going to accomplish as Banco. He imbued him with so much ruggedness, as well as that fine virility that made him a thoroughly engaging nobleman to witness, even though he ends up getting killed off and returns to haunt Macbeth as a spirit. There is no doubt that I've always fallen for Byung Gil Kim's masculine charms as a singing actor, and he did a fine job as Banco, and his voice, as always, had that fine resonance to it that was able to reach quite well in the low notes, thus producing some haunted and haunting effects when he sang his aria Come dal ciel precipita. While I continue to fancy his virile stage presence and that great resonance that made him thoroughly strong as a bass baritone slash basso cantante, there are times that he still had that crudeness, roughness, and that throatiness that could seem like Achilles' heels, especially if one were to expect much greater singing, let alone singing that has a lot more squillo, clarity, and way more sizable vocal presence. However, I do kind of defend that vocal roughness, crudeness, and that slight throatiness that Byung Gil Kim possessed, because at least he used this to an effect to make Banco a warrior character who still has some nobility in him and is still willing to protect his son even if he has to sacrifice his life. Yes, I know hardcore fans of great singing would find Byung Gil Kim's vocal emission crude, throaty, and very much on the rough and uneven side. And this is something that Mr. Kim does need to improve on continuously if he is to continue to grow as a singer. Because who I have in my ears as some of the greatest bancos of all time are the likes of Jerome Hines, Giorgio Tozzi, Nikolai Gyaurov, Samuel Ramey, Karl Ridderbusch, Herbert Alsen, and even Italo Tayo, although Signore Tayo was a lot more renowned for great comic roles such as Leporello from Don Giovanni. I would therefore encourage Byung Gil Kim to listen to the great examples offered by my personal favorite bancos of all time, Nikolai Gyaurov, Jerome Hines, Giorgio Tozzi, Karl Ridderbusch, and Samuel Ramey to listen to how actual squillo should sound like, whether he be a bass baritone or a basso cantante or even a basso profondo in Karl Ridderbusch's case. And I dare not forget about James Morris, who is also one of the greatest bancos next to Samuel Ramey, whose voice could also go astride the Heldenbariton, bass baritone, and basso cantante roles. And I also dare not forget about Simon Estes, a genuine basso cantante who also did a good chunk of bass baritone roles, who was full of squillo, full of genuine fullness, richness, roundness, and darkness, as well as that complete cavernousness that made him absolutely awesome as a basso cantante, and an actual one at that. But when all is said and done, Byung Gil Kim was still a handsome, sturdy, and thoroughly engaging Banco, all thanks to his commanding stage presence, which managed to make me thoroughly engaged as a viewer, and the effects that he managed to produce with his bass baritone slash basso cantante voice, thus emitting a sense of hauntedness whenever he sees a lot of these weird happenings going on around him, as well as the awful predictions coming to life, and the demise that he unfortunately encounters at the hands of one of Macbeth's assassins. Even with the Achilles heels of vocal unevenness, roughness, crudeness, and not a whole lot of smoothness going on in his voice, as well as needing a lot more squillo to even out all those edges so that it could come out a lot more polished, clear, and more cleanly attacked, I can still give a lot of kudos to Byung Gil Kim for his overall commitment as a singing actor, as well as his thorough diligence to make the role of Banco come to life, as well as make the role his own. And if he continues to develop his technique in the best possible way, then I would certainly love to see him in a lot more leading man roles. Who knows, maybe one day he can definitely own it as Mephistopheles from Gounod's Faust, Boitos Mefistofele, and Berlioz' La Damnation de Faust, the title role of Don Giovanni, Filippo II from Verdi's Don Carlo, Massimiliano Mur from Verdi's I Masnadieri, Pagano from Verdi's I Lombardi alla prima crociata, Silva from Verdi's Ernani, Procida from Verdi's I Vespri Siciliani, Lord Sidney from Rossini's Il Viaggio a Reims, Walter Fürst from Rossini's Guillaume Tell, and maybe either Marcel or Le Comte de Sombry from Meyerbeer's Les Huguenots, unless they forget about Bertram from Robert le Diable. The possibilities for Byung Gil Kim are absolutely endless, so long as he continues to grow and develop his technique in the best possible way, as well as continue to polish his bass baritone slash basso cantante voice to reach its much fuller potential. Therefore, I salute Byung Gil Kim for his fantastic efforts, as well as his thoroughly commanding stage presence and fine artistic efforts to make Banco come alive in his own special way. Thomas Lehmann struck again as Macbeth, and once again, he demonstrated a lot of nobility, virility, and ruggedness as the titular anti-hero. He was continuously evolving as a singing actor, and he continued to imbue this role with a lot of virile charisma. So hats off to Thomas Lehmann for using his amazing vocal gifts found in that smooth and silky toned lyric slash dramatic baritone voice that he used to fantastic effect. And I could definitely see him going the route of Leonard Warren as well as Cheryl Milnes. Probably even the latter, given his thorough commitment to his craft, as well as the direction that Thomas Lehmann is heading towards these days. And when all is said and done, he deserves a million salutes and hurrahs for everything that he continued to accomplish as Macbeth. Byung Kim was a nobly toned and absolutely handsome interpreter of the Doctor and the Assassin, using his trademark Cavalier baritone voice with that smoothness, richness, and evenness to bring these characters to life. Dean Murphy continued to be just as amazing and handsome as the Servant, the Herald, and the First Spirit. Andrei Danilov continued to be just as mesmerizing and thoroughly engaging as Macduff, all thanks to his full lyric tenor voice that seems to go more into the direction of lirico spinto, thus making his vocal emission almost reminiscent of 1,000 swords and 1,000 battle battle axes, piercing the flesh of the enemies in battle, and doing so with a whole lot of aplomb, ease, and a great deal of virile awesomeness, thus making me continue to salute Andrei Danilov for his great commitment as well as his fantastic artistry. Kang Yun-shine Lee was also just as amazing as Malcolm, with his silken, even-toned, gorgeous, and thoroughly consistent light lyric tenor voice that just radiated, glowed, and shone like the brightest of stars and comets, thus making his interpretation of Malcolm a thoroughly engaging portrayal, as well as someone worth saluting for and rooting for from beginning to end. Therefore, he deserves all the gold stars in the world for continuing to prolong the wonderful bel canto tradition of great singing, and that also goes double for Andrei Danilov for doing just as much as he can to be just as fantastic as a bel canto singer, let alone one of the finest purveyors of today for prolonging the great bel canto tradition, thus making both Andrei Danilov and Kang Yun-shine Lee thoroughly amazing tenors to root for, especially with their epic duet La Patria Tradita. These two gentlemen deserve a whole lot of gold stars, gold medals, and blue ribbons, as well as medals of honor for being absolutely grand as two tenors, just giving it their all as Macduff and Malcolm respectively. Felicia Moore was just as amazing as Lady Macbeth, as she's always been. Her great consistency as a singing actress, her well-balanced dramatic soprano voice that can easily go from bottom notes to top notes, from chest voice to head voice, as well as hitting all the notes the best way she can with a whole lot of balance, a whole lot of colors, and the whole color palette, the whole shebang, made her indubitably phenomenal and worth rooting for all the time. Who knows, maybe I would love to see her one day as Tosca from Puccini's Tosca, Maddalena di Coigny from Andrea Chenier, and Adriana Lecouvreur, because I do also think that these roles would be amazing for her one day. Who knows? The future would definitely look nice for Felicia Moore, especially when she has a go at Tosca, Maddalena di Coigny, and Adriana Lecouvreur. These three fabulous roles for a true Verissimo diva, and she's got a whole lot of fantastic vocal gifts to prove just that, aside from her phenomenal portrayal as Lady Macbeth. She also deserves a lot of salutes, as well as a great deal of applauses for stealing the show, as she's always done as Lady Macbeth, complete with great aplomb. Speaking of great aplomb, Maria Vasilevskaya was also thoroughly grand as the lady in waiting, being just as committed as an artist as well as engaging as a singing actress, using her silvery lyric soprano voice to make this particularly small role work in her favor, and do so with great confidence and equally fantastic musicianship. The contributions made by Emil van der See, Dana Marie-Ève, Robert Havensbreit, Emile Pearl, and Pierre Emeux were also absolutely amazing, especially where Emil van der See's wonderful and clear-toned boy-soprano voice was put to amazing use as the third spirit. So overall, the singing was thoroughly amazing. From the lead singers to the supporting players to the actors, everybody did such a phenomenal job. Words cannot describe how proud I continue to be of Byung Gil Kim for growing as a singing actor. He was able to continue to use his tall, handsome, and thoroughly masculine stage presence to sell it as Banco. Sure, although some people who are more attuned to the old school way of singing, especially for true basso cantantes or basso profondos, might find fault in Byung Gil Kim's way of singing, whether it be the crudeness or the throatiness or not enough clarity, I could still forgive every bit of issues that people, let alone people who love great singing, have with Byung Gil Kim, and see a whole great deal of potential so long as he continues to develop and grow as a singing actor, as well as take great inspiration from all of the great bassos of the past, especially with the likes of Jerome Hines, Giorgio Tozzi, Nikolai Gyaurov, Samuel Ramey, and Nikola Guselev. And I dare not forget about Kyle Ridderbush, Simon Estes, and James Morris are concerned, because all of these gentlemen that I've mentioned had wonderful voices full of squillo, clarity, and authority. So I'm pretty sure that once he takes great inspiration from them, he will continue to grow and flourish as a bass baritone slash basso cantante, and even grow in a lot more natural darkness and clarity. So I still have to keep on encouraging Byung Gil Kim to go the best way possible with his voice and ensure genuinely great vocal growth. Even with some of the issues aside, I still salute Byung Gil Kim for striking a strong impression as Banco, especially when he has been supported by all of his great co-stars. Thomas Lehmann's absolutely virile Macbeth, Felicia Moore's thoroughly engaging and thoroughly consistent Lady Macbeth, Andrei Danilov's superbly virile Macduff, and Kang Yun-shine Lee's aristocratic Malcolm. And lest I forget about the efforts done by Gyeon Kim, Dean Murphy, and especially Maria Vasilevskaya, and I dare not forget about Emil van der See. Everybody did an amazing job bolstering tonight's performance, and I also have to give great credit to Byung Gil Kim for doing such a fine job interpreting Banco with his rugged virility, as well as using his voice to the best of his abilities, that will continue to have a great deal of potential to keep on shining and keep on radiating the best way possible. The conducting done by Enrique Mazzola was still as nuanced and absolutely great as ever. He continued to be thoroughly involving with the orchestra, as well as ensuring that nobody got left behind, as well as conducted with a great deal of focus and detail, thus ensuring that everything got together in syncopation and harmony, and he didn't conduct too loud nor too soft. He was able to show balance with the score, as well as what he was able to do with some of the loud moments and the soft moments, thus ensuring a great deal of harmony from beginning to end. And the chorus and the orchestra of the Deutsche Oper Berlin were thoroughly grand all the way through. As I stated before, I cannot begin to describe to you how proud I continue to be of Byung Gil Kim as a singing actor. He has definitely continued to grow from strength to strength, and his performance tonight as Banco made me salute him for all of the efforts, all of what he was able to accomplish, as well as everything that he did to make this role his own. While he does need a lot more work in ensuring that his voice continues to gain in a lot more clarity, squillo, and a great deal of laser focus, he still has a great deal of resonance, as well as a great deal of stage charisma and a formidable stage presence that made him a thoroughly winsome singing actor tonight. Therefore, I salute Byung Gil Kim for owning the role of Banco in his own special way, as well as bolstering tonight's performance of Macbeth, complete with his co-stars Thomas Lehmann, Felicia Moore, Andrei Danilov, Kang Yun-shine Lee, Gyeon Kim, Dean Murphy, and Maria Vasilevskaya. He was able to stand on his own 2 feet as a fine and strong singing actor, and he was in a class of his own tonight. And for those of you who caught this performance of Verdi's Macbeth at the Deutsche Oper Berlin, what'd you think of it? Did you feel that Byung Gil Kim was able to own the role of Banco in his own special way? What was something that you liked about Byung Gil Kim's performance as Banco? Did you also feel that there was another performer who stole the show from Byung Gil Kim's feet? If so, who was it? Or did you feel that Byung Gil Kim's performance as Banco was kind of lackluster and you feel like he should be improving a whole lot more? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my review of Verdi's Macbeth starring Byung Gil Kim as Banco. Tune in tomorrow for my review of Wagner's Tristan und Isolde starring Stefanie Mutter as Isolde. So until then, Happy New Year's, everybody!